full speed in the lane, still getting it.
What's up guys, emhdesigns here, and I'm bringing you another tutorial. Yeah, so my last tutorial got really good feedback, so I figured I would go ahead and get you guys another tutorial. And I also just submitted awesome text tutorial for Cinema 4D to Yeousch, so make sure you go over and check out the Yeousch GFX channel, because that'll be coming up soon, and it's a really great tutorial. I actually give away a studio and some materials in that tutorial. But this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to do this type of modules similar. I'm going to be changing a few things, like this glare effect that I put on these. I'm not going to be using it on the new ones that I'm about to do right now. So let's go ahead and clear out everything that is on these and take the style off of this one like so. So I'll have this like this to download in the description. It's a template. You can just download. It's just a template that I use, and then you can go get it and follow along to this tutorial. And yeah, so first thing we're gonna do is change the layer style. We're gonna add a few things, and the first thing we're gonna add is a bevel and emboss. You want to do inner bevel with smooth, and your depth you're gonna change all the way up to 1000. The size, you kind of want it to be, you don't really want it to be too big. I'm gonna go with 3. I think 3 is pretty good. So, and then you can leave the rest of this stuff the same, like the angle to 97 and 21. That's completely fine. And then you want to change the opacity of the white right here. You want to change it down to about 15%. Because if it stands out really bad, it's gonna look really tacky. Like if it's like to that, it just doesn't really look good in my opinion. So we'll put it down to about 15. So, and that's about all you're gonna do for the bevel and emboss. The next thing I'm gonna do is a drop shadow. Change the distance to 0. The spread up to about 25 or so. Somewhere in that area, and then the size will do about 13. And you can just kind of mess with this yourself if you want a little bit more drop shadow or whatnot. And then I also do an inner shadow, and you're not gonna really notice this at first until we get later on in the tutorial, but just put it about 0 distance. Put your choke up pretty good, about 40, somewhere around there. I'm gonna put mine on about 38 will do. And then your size, you're going to change this up to about 10. And you're not going to really notice this at the moment, but you will notice it later on. So next thing you want to do is create a new layer. All you have to do to create a new layer is click beside the trash can down here, right click the new layer and hit create clipping mask. And what that's going to do is just allow it to only, whatever you do is only going to go into the modules. So make sure you can see all of it, and then what we're gonna do is you want to get to zoom out, get a brush tool. It's right here below the band-aid looking thing, and then you want to grab a pretty good sized like brush, with a circular brush with hardness to 0%. Put the size up. Let's see. I'm gonna go with 764. And we'll change color up to white. And actually I think I'm gonna go with a bigger brush. Let's see. I guess this will be fine. About 862 is what I'm on. And with this, you just kind of want to stay to the edges like so. Yeah, I don't like that. Hold on. And just kind of, just like this. Just kind of make little things. That's a little too much, and you don't want to just put one in the center like that, because the brush is a lot brighter in the center, and then by the time you turn it down to where the opacity you can't see it, it's gonna be kind of useless, because you won't be able to see the other ones that you made. That didn't make no sense, but you get what I'm saying. So we'll just kind of do like this, and then what you want to do is create another layer, and if you click onto your modules and then create the layer, it'll automatically create a clipping mask for it. And so yeah, so I'm going to lower the brush size on this one a little bit. Not that much, that was a little much there, to about 450. and then you can like take this one and you can actually go into the middle with it, and then we're gonna make it all match. So then you want to change the layer style of both of these to soft light, and actually what I'm gonna do is spread these out a little bit. So all I did was hit Control T, and now I'm going to make them a little bit bigger, and they're gonna spread out like so. And so we change this one to soft light as well. And then what we're going to do is zoom in, and we're going to lower the opacity on these. So you don't want them real bright, just something that you can notice that is there, and that'll do like that. So as you can see, it gives it kind of a nice effect. It doesn't make it look like it's just a solid color. It gives you a great effect in my opinion. So and then what we're going to do is create another new layer, and on this layer we're going to go back to our brush tool, and we're going to get like a paint splatter brush, is what I'm going to call it, I guess. I'll have this in the description to download as well. I'll probably just put like a WinRAR folder of everything that I use in the video. So yeah, so what you're going to do with this is get just a pretty good size and just kind of splatter paint around the edges, and you can switch up your brushes so it doesn't look like it's the same thing over and over. And not that. We'll get this. You can just kind of throw it around like this, and just kind of put it all over the place. Just let's see here, get another one, and this will be the last one. And yeah, this will do. So, and this is just going to give you another kind of effect that you're not really going to notice, because what we're going to do now is did I put this on the overlay? Yeah, overlay with black doesn't matter, I forgot about that. So what we're going to do is just lower the opacity to about 20% will do. That way it's not real noticeable, but it's there so that you can see it. So next thing we're going to do is add kind of a effect to the modules that you'll see this. It's a really common effect, and it's actually, it looks pretty well. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. The way I'm going to do it is going to be using the gradient tool. So what you're going to do is get your gradient tool. If you don't see it, it is where the paint bucket tool is. All you got to do is right click and click gradient tool. Come up here and make sure you click the one that's faded into a checkerboard, and then if it's a different color, just change your color up here to white, and then you'll have what I have right now. And make sure you're on the horizontal gradient, not the circular or whatever it's called. So then what you want to do is create another layer and make sure it goes into create a clipping mask. As long as you stay on your module layer, all your layers you create from there will be in a clipping mask. So next thing you want to do is get your marquee tool, and what I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit here. That might have been too much. There we go. And we're going to take our marquee tool and just drag it over only this top module like that, and then go back to your gradient tool and just drag it down like that. And then now you can deselect your marquee tool. What you do is just go back to your marquee tool, right click, and click deselect. So for the top one, what I like to do is hit Control T, and what we're going to do is just drag this down like so, and then we're going to take and push it back up. So you can get your move tool and get your arrow key and slide it back up like this. And what we're going to do is just wait for it to kind of get so it's faded in like that right there. Something doesn't look right actually. Looks like, I don't know, maybe it is, I'm just seeing things. So that right there, and you're going to lower the opacity on it just a little bit. You don't want a lot because you still want it to be visible. So I think that'll do right there, about 91, because you need it pretty visible for that. So we're going to do the same thing for the next one. So we can get our gradient tool, make sure you don't start up here, just make sure you start right here, drag down, and then what you're going to do is Control T it as well, drag it down as well, and we're going to push it up to about right there. So then what you're going to do, as you see, it is covering your top module. So you're going to get your marquee tool again and highlight the top module like that. Make sure you're on the layer that's covering, and then click your delete key, and as you see, it just deletes it out. So now we're going to lower the opacity on this one down to about, kind of want to make it match the top one the best you can. It's not going to be the same number, but you just want to make it match the best you can. I'm going to say that'll work. You know, it doesn't have to be anything too special. And if you really want, you can do these separate. But the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to highlight it, get our not our marquee tool, our gradient tool, drag down like so. Oh wow, I did that. Make sure you have a drag line so you drag it straight, because if you drag it like that, as you can see, it just doesn't work right. Gradient goes that way. That's something I forgot to mention. So just make sure you drag, and it'll be red if you're on the drag line like that, and that keeps it perfectly straight. So what you're going to do now is we're going to move it up a little bit like that. We can deselect our marquee tool now, and you're going to want to highlight this little area. If this happens to you, it might not. Delete it, and we're going to scroll up so we can see both, and we're going to try to match them. So we're going to lower the opacity down. Actually, you know what? I think I didn't create a new layer. I didn't, but you know what? It actually looks fine. So you're gonna want to create a new layer, but I didn't. That's a fail. But alright, so then what we're gonna do we're gonna add one to this little area right here. What you're gonna do is just highlight it in a marquee tool. Actually, you're not even supposed to highlight that. Wow, this is bad. So highlight this in a marquee tool. My bad. So then you're gonna right click and hit layer via copy, and you're gonna want to go to that new layer I just created. Create clipping mask. Get your move tool and move it down with your arrow key like so until it's not covering on that one anymore. Just like that. And then you're gonna lower the opacity on it. We're gonna lower it to about, like I said, you don't want this really visible. Like, it's not, like, it's just something you don't want. So what is this? Okay, that's that one. So we're gonna lower its opacity as well, just like that. And I'm gonna actually lower the opacity even lower on these splatters that I've done. Go lower them 20%. Yeah, I think about 10 will do just fine. So let's zoom out a little bit here. And as you can see, it just gives the modules a really nice effect, especially once you add more stuff to your background and whatnot. And even if you want to, you can go and put a pattern overlay. This is just optional, I really don't. And get like a line pattern. I'm gonna get horizontal. Have some somewhere. So you get horizontal like that, and then lower the opacity down to like 10% on these, because this is something else you don't want noticeable. Like, you just want it to kind of be there, I guess you could say. So but anyways, that's about it for this tutorial, and make sure you check the description for the download of this template and everything you need, and then you can follow along. If this helped you in any way, please like the video. If you want to help out, you can like and favorite the video, because it does help me a lot. So but that's about it, and I'll see you guys later.
Heading full speed in the lane, still getting it.